Welcome to the channel, or welcome back. This video is focusing on the hammer fist, using the bottom portion of the hand as if you're holding a hammer, or in this scenario, really holding a stick. So we're applying major stick work motions to our striking. So first one we're looking at here is the standard forehand or inward slash, or rather hitting motion using the butt of the stick, but now we're using the bottom of the hand, the hammer fist. So we showed left side, now this is the right. See this ascending diagonally down from the shoulder area into the center. This is impact. This not following through, it's hitting the target and then retracting. So that's more of a whittick motion. In this scenario here, we see more of what we would call lob tick with the weapon, where it passes through the center line in a full slash. This could be hitting with the forearm, could be hitting with the hammer of the hand, anything goes. Conversely now, when we look at the backhand motion, this is also snapping out and back, and we've got a counter rotation of the hip facilitated by the ball of the foot. I'm presenting this with a angulation of the body. We're pivoting a little bit and then sending that out again with that counter rotation. You could see that pivot as a slip against a punch. It could be a setup if you had the time and opportunity to actually set up a shot, but you're going to find your own ways to execute this, your own jumping off points. Here with the longer view is a better shot of the pivoting on the ball of the foot to get that counter rotation, to get that hip rotation, to send that thing out with a little more distance and maybe a little more snap or more oomph. This slightly different affectation here so that we're raising the elbow up, common defensive structure, common loading structure. And these shots are actually a little more diagonal than the last ones, which were coming through a little more vertical. And it's just a slightly different style of delivering this particular shot. Very common in these Southeast Asian or dirty boxing arts is that kind of Dracula style motion of the arm where you're loading that up above the head. This is now backhand pulling through the center line so that it's a full slashing or even whipping motion like this. Again, we would use the term lob tick with the weapon, and so that can apply here as well, empty hand. Now we've got coming up diagonal from underneath. Less common, therefore, a good creative opportunity to pepper in some shots that are unorthodox and might have a good opportunity of scoring for you. So that's a backhand upward diagonal slash or hitting motion with the weapon, now translated to being the hammer fist. These are really great to connect to other more orthodox shots. So, if you've got a shot that follows through, then you can hinge and cut back on that same line. So we've got combinations now looking at more of a cob-cob motion. If you're familiar with that from a double stick training method, where we're just rotating and hitting these forehand shots. Now we've got backhand, 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 alternating, starting with left or right. What we often refer to as pie-pie. Again, the long range here showing the pivoting of the body to extend that shot out. And you can change your rotation, which will change your range. So now we've got forehand, backhand, forehand. That's inward, backhand, inward, all coming down the same line of attack. Down, 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 same angle. Rear lead and rear hand. 1, 2, 3. You see how there's a big windup, big setup there now with the left side where the elbow is coming up. So that could be a saluting motion. That could be a shot with the elbow. And it could just be a setup. And I'm just offering you that as something to explore. So here now we're going down and up on the same line. As I said before, hinging that upward diagonal shot after the first one. So it's not maybe as often an opening shot, but it's a great one to pepper in between. Forehand, low backhand, forehand, forehand, low backhand, and now forehand on the same side. 1, 2, and rolling to 3. So it's still forehand, low backhand, high forehand, but all with one arm coming through that side of the body. That's down, up, down again. There's a slight rolling motion that we saw there. There it is again in that transition between the low up backhand and the high forehand. 1, 2, and 3. And now showing it just a little more speed, a little more oomph, a little more intent in those shots. You get a better sense of different ways that you can rep this out. Slow and controlled is you're focusing on overall quality of movement. Speed, you're maybe adding a little more emotional content into it. You're really working on, how am I going to deliver this to a person and not just focusing on the execution of the movement itself. And now this is on the left side. So I hope this was of interest. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the thumbs up and subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. Make sure you check us out here in Ferndale, 368 Hilton Road, Ferndale, Michigan, and mkgdetroit.com.